Hey, what's up everybody? Nick here. Welcome back to Resident Evil 4. This is the Xbox One most recent remastered edition of the game, and this is my professional difficulty walkthrough. So we just finished the last video with what I call an oh shit section, which is a particularly tough and stressful part of the game, and that was the cabin defense. And so once you finish that off, feel free to scavenge the area, pick up anything, talk to the merchant if you need to. But you're going to come to this lever here, and the game's going to give you a choice of which path do you want to take, left or right. Definitely go right. So the left has a lot of the left path has a lot of regular foot soldiers, ganados. The right path only has one El Gigante, and you don't even have to kill him if you follow my approach that I take right here. I ended up getting through this section. I think I only used 7 bullets. So that was pretty fortunate. All right, so check out how I'm going to do this. Basically, to get out of this section, we have to pick up a key, and that key is going to be in a building. But we're going to pretty much let El Gigante do all the work here. So watch this. Right when El Gigante comes down, turn around and start knifing these chains. Ashley, make sure Ashley's following you, and then start running, okay? Now what I decided to do, I tried to get lucky and I looked for the key by myself, but I think it's done by random, but if not, don't even worry about it. Just run to the end here. So run past all these little cabins and run as far back as you possibly can. Then get to this door here and again start knifing the chains. Now tell Ashley to wait there. Make sure Ashley is not following you, and then run up so that the Gigante is focused on you. And you'll see here how he actually just broke all of the shacks down for me. He just completely annihilated the area. So now you can feel free to pick up all these free goodies, and one of those goodies is going to be the key to get out of this area. So now once you collect everything, turn around, run past Gigante, and thankfully he's pretty slow. So now tell Ashley to follow you once again. Kick down this door and then just keep on running, and you're just gonna run all the way to the end here to this green gate. Open it with the key you just picked, or green door I guess. Open it with the key that you just picked up, and there you go. That part is super easy if you follow that strategy. I used 7 bullets, I did not take any damage, Ashley didn't take any damage, and now we're one step closer to finishing chapter 2. So, you know, speaking honestly, I think I've only ever went to the left path once, and that's because I remember the one time I did go left, I just ended up thinking like, wow, this is so much harder than the right path with the El Gigante. And the reason I love, that's another thing that I love about this game and that about this genre in general, is survival horror games often give you that choice. Sometimes it's smarter not to kill the enemies. Sometimes it's smarter to just run. And that's hard for some gamers to do, myself included. You know, I usually feel the need to completely clear out the area and kill any enemies that stand in my way. But you see right there, there was absolutely no need for me to kill that Gigante. I saved a bunch of ammo, I saved a bunch of time, a bunch of stress, and that's just what I love about this game. There's so many of those small, unique opportunities to where if you know what you're doing, or if you're using a walkthrough, you can completely slip by a lot of areas without ever having to kill a single enemy. And that really does become invaluable in this game because, like I've said, on professional difficulty, the enemies are stronger, ammo is limited, and yeah, really the only bad thing that comes from running through a section like that is that most of the times you don't get to scavenge for supplies. But you see right there, that wasn't even the case in that section because the Gigante knocked over everything for me, so I was able to pick up everything. The only downside was there are a couple treasures there that you can shoot down, and so obviously I didn't have time to shoot down the treasures, but that's okay. So now we're going to get on the ski lift here, and what you're going to want to do is pull out your TMP. And now aim as far down the sights as you can, and this part becomes really easy. You're going to see an enemy on this ledge here. Pop a couple shots at him. All you have to do is hit him once and he'll fall down. And that's all you have to do for all of these enemies. So just start aiming at the parallel track of ski lifts, and just start shooting small controlled bursts at the group of enemies. And it's so easy. All you have to do is hit them once and they'll scream and they'll fall to their deaths. So this part here, this is something that if you're on your first playthrough and you don't know what to expect, this is a part that can be particularly challenging because you have to kill all these enemies and you have no room to move. And it's funny, I just noticed something for the very first time playing this game. Every time I kill an enemy, Ashley is like doing a weird fist bump. Did you see that? If you didn't see that, rewind the video. I thought that was kind of funny. I've played this game like 8 times and I never once noticed that. Every time I killed an enemy, she did this like fist bump to herself in the air and it just kind of looked stupid. That's funny though. It's funny how that's another thing I love about doing post commentary. So I've said this in previous walkthroughs, but doing post commentary, it can be a lot more work because you imagine this level here is about 20 minutes in length, so that's 20 minutes of gameplay, and then I go back and do 20 minutes of commentary. So overall, that's 40 minutes of work. So the doing post-production commentary usually doubles the amount of time it would take to do live commentary. But that's one of the things I love about it is if I was doing live commentary for my walkthroughs, I don't think I'd be as helpful. And that's nothing against live commentary. Live commentary definitely has a place in gaming videos. I really like live commentary, but for like traditional Let's Plays. But when someone's making like a strategy guide like I do, I personally prefer post-production commentary. So you don't even have to go in this tunnel here, but I always do to get the treasure. Turn the corner, and this guy's going to have a dynamite stick, and for some reason, I missed it, and so I ended up looking like a dumbass, and I took a bunch of damage. But then I decided to give it another go, and there you go. You see that I was able to shoot it out of the air successfully. So either just take down that guy as quickly as possible, or be a better marksman than I am, and you should be able to get through this without taking any damage at all. But yeah, you can tell Ashley to wait all the way at the end of this tunnel here because there's only one more enemy that you're going to have to worry about, and that's this guy right here. So pop him in the leg and then just run up and finish it off with a knife. And if he happens to hatch a parasite from his head, then just run around, give yourself a little breathing room, and take that sucker out. Yeah, so there you go. He ended up having a parasite. So you see how I backed up, pulled out a stronger weapon, and now I'm going to go to town. But yeah, so that's one of the things I really like about doing post-production commentary is not only does it allow me to be more helpful in my advice to you, but also sometimes as I'm watching this footage again, since I'm not actually playing, since I'm not focused on being a good player, I'm sometimes able to notice things that I didn't notice during my initial playthrough, and that just happens to be a prime example is Ashley's stupid little fist bump. That's something I never would have noticed while playing the game. But since I went back and did the commentary, I thought it was pretty funny. You can actually see off in the distance, if you look across this water here, you can see a castle. That castle is where we're going in Chapter 3. Easily my least favorite part of the game, not because it's not fun, but because it's just really challenging. But anyway, guys, all we have left to do in this video is fight Chief Mendez, or otherwise known as the Big Cheese of the village. And so feel free to stock up on anything you need from the merchant. If you have any extra money, you can upgrade your weapons. But other than that, we're just going to proceed on to this boss fight because right now I have a good supply of health, I have a good supply of ammo, and then in the hut that we fight him in, there's also going to be a good supply of grenades and stuff like that. So you don't have much to worry about. So just run up here to the doors. You're going to trigger a cutscene, and then I'll see you once we begin the boss fight.
You better stay outside. Ashley, go hide.
Yeah.
Hasta luego.
Alright, so here we go, the Chief Mendez boss fight. This one can be pretty tough because his movements are very unpredictable, but what I recommend is pulling out the TMP and then climbing this ladder here. And you can run around, you can get the health, you can get the grenade, but be careful. Tuck yourself into this corner here, because he's going to start reaching up with his giant, disgusting, sharp tentacles, and he's going to start trying to hit you from that location. But if you stay in this corner here, at least for the first part of this boss fight, I believe he's unable to hurt you. So if you get overwhelmed and if you're low on health, this is a good little location you can come to hide from him and give yourself a little bit of breathing room. But then what I recommend doing is popping back out here, shooting him so that he knows you're up here, and then what you're going to do is you're going to turn around, and there's going to be an explosive barrel right next to him. So shoot that, and that's going to do a lot of damage initially. Pop a lot of more shots into him. Pop a lot of more shots. That sounded funny. But then you're going to take out your grenades and just start chucking them at him. I decided to use my frag grenade, and then I decided to use my 2 incendiary grenades. And this is just to get the first half of the boss fight out of the way as early as possible. This is actually the easier half of the boss fight. And then what's going to happen is, so you see right here, once you deal enough damage, you think you're going to be done. His body separates, but now you have to fight his upper half, and this part becomes a bit more tough because now he has a lot more maneuverability, but the best weapon against him in this form is the shotgun, and that's because now he gets really close to you, but you just got to be careful because he basically swings from rafter to rafter, and in this spot here, this was our initial safe spot, he can actually still get to you here and he can do some damage. So you got to be careful. You can't hide out in that section like we did in the first half of this boss fight. But what you're going to basically want to do is give yourself some room. In this part, grenades typically tend to be not as effective because he's not on the ground as much. But now I'm just going to start unloading shotgun blasts into him. And basically just do not stop. And what will happen is after he takes a certain amount of hits from the shotgun, that's when he'll fall back like you saw him do right there, and then he'll crawl on the ground for a little bit. While he's crawling, use that opportunity to keep shooting him. And then as he starts approaching you, just keep dumping these shotgun blasts into him, but try to save one for when he gets really close like you saw right there. And if he does get really close, then it might be a good idea to run away and distance yourself once again. But then eventually what I decided to do was run to the top of the ladder here, and I thought that hit from the shotgun would be enough to send him flying back, but it turned out not to be. If that's the case, that's okay. There's actually a yellow herb in this building, so you can use it to make a super combo and give yourself a lot of that health back. Otherwise, hopefully you stocked up on first aid spray or anything like that. But there are a lot of herbs in this room. There's actually enough herbs for you to make a super combo, so health really should not be much of a factor in this area. And so now what I'm going to do, basically the same strategy. I'm going to hold my ground, and I'm just going to start pumping shotgun blasts into this guy. And then once he gets closer and closer to me, if you keep shooting him while he's far away, then when he gets close to you, all you have to do is hit him once or twice and he'll fall back. And then eventually, after you pop enough shotgun shots into this guy, he'll fall down, and congratulations. You have defeated Chief Mendez, and you're also pretty much done with Chapter 2 of the game. Now, I say congratulations, but at the same time, I should be saying I'm sorry, because if you're done with Chapter 2, that means you're going to be shortly moving on to Chapters 3 and 4. So the way this game is laid out, for those of you who aren't familiar with the game, and there's not any big spoilers here or anything, but basically the first 2 chapters are spent in this village that we've been in since the beginning. The second 2 chapters are spent in this castle, and the third, wait, did I say the second 2? Okay, chapters 1 and 2 are spent in the village. Chapters 3 and 4 are spent in the castle, and chapters 4 and 5 are spent in the island. And in my opinion, the 2 chapters in the castle are definitely the worst 2. Those are, and it's not that they're not fun. They're very fun, and they introduce some very creepy enemies. It's just that they are really, really hard. Like, they just, you get thrown so much crap at you. It's just tough enemy after another. You'll go through one room that was really tough, and you'll think, oh my god, that was really hard. The game definitely has to give me a bit of an easy streak now and give me some breathing time. You'd think that, but you'd be wrong, because Capcom likes to piss us off, and so Capcom just throws so much stuff at us in the castle. And none of it is impossible, obviously, but it is really tough and really exhausting, and every time I kind of dread playing through it once again. But anyway, after you defeat Chief Mendez, you can scavenge the area, and then we're going to run back to this ski lift here and proceed towards the end of the chapter. So right here is what I was talking about. You can actually see that castle off in the distance. That's where we're going to be headed in the next video. So chapters 1 and 2 are each 3 parts long. Chapters 3 and 4, however, are each 4 parts long. So that's something you got to worry about. And I think I actually mixed it up. No, I didn't. Yeah, chapters 5 and 6 are spent on the island, but chapter 6 is only one section, and that's just the final boss. So chapter 6 is hardly even a chapter in its own regard. It's just that's the final part of the game. So now you can come back here, and if you're like me and you like to explore everywhere, you'll see that red door across the bridge. That door is just the other path that we could have taken at the beginning of this level. And so since we chose to take the right path, that left path becomes inaccessible. So any treasures or anything that are there, you're just going to have to leave. You're not going to be able to pick those up. But anyway, guys, use the eye that you picked up from Chief Mendez, and you'll be able to get through this gate here. And now what's going to happen is we're going to make our final home stretch to Chapter 3. So I'll take this opportunity real quick to say thank you all for watching. I hope you're enjoying this walkthrough as much as I am making it. If you want to stay tuned for the rest of the series, feel free to subscribe. Leave a thumbs up on the video if you enjoyed it. Comment below letting me know what's your favorite part of this game, what's your favorite Resident Evil game, really anything at all. I really love discussing video games with you guys in the comments section, especially this game because I'm really passionate about it. And I'm hoping that this walkthrough will lead me towards other walkthroughs like in Resident Evil 5, 6, and then eventually 7 when it comes out next year. And I also have Resident Evil 0 and Resident Evil 1 stored on my Xbox One, and I have yet to actually start playing them. So what's going to happen is this truck is going to start running at or driving at you. Pull out either your shotgun or your TMP and just shoot the grill a few times. And once you see it erupt in flames, that's your cue that things are okay. The truck will topple over. You can actually pick up a treasure from the truck that's worth quite a lot. But then what's going to happen is do not stick around. Just take a run for it because there are going to be a lot of enemies behind you. You can see how I'm not even turning around. I'm just going to run across this bridge and finish the video. Alright guys, see you later.
On the other side of the bridge.
Yeah.
I got it. You take that one.
Okay.
Ready? Come on.
Yeah.